former Eskom CEO Ruyter says he cannot name the minister he implicated in corruption at the power utility. Ruyter says he wants to focus only on evidence of potential abuse of the state coffers. Ruyter appeared before the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. Our reporter Heidi Giokos was following those proceedings, and she joins us now live in studio. Heidi, what exactly did Ruyter say when they asked him to tell them or give them the names of the people that he was mentioning in that eNCA exclusive?
Well, Maseko, I just want to say that his appearance before Scopa was a much anticipated one, but it's become very underwhelming. And I think because he didn't say much, he said nothing new. He refused to divulge the name of the minister that's alleged to be involved in corruption that is so rife at Eskom. What's also interesting is he changed his tune and his messaging around the so-called minister. Initially, we understood it to be a minister that is allowing this corruption and part of this corruption at our power utility. And suddenly, before Scopa, he said, I never said it was a minister. I said it was a high-ranking politician. So Scopa members, for example, the chair of Scopa is saying, okay, so what is a high-ranking politician? I need to understand what a high-ranking politician is. Yes, so what's the difference between a minister and a high-ranking politician? And Ruyter said, well, for example, you as the Scopa chair, you are, for example, a high-ranking politician. And I think members of parliament were so confused they couldn't understand who exactly Ruyter was referring to. He refused to give the information, and the reason that he cited was it's not in his place to do so, and that there are security risks. He also went as far as saying that he has given the name to the relevant authorities, for example, the South African Police Service as well as the Hawks, and he says he had given the name to the shareholder minister, which is the Minister of Public Enterprises, Pravin Gordhan. But we are none the wiser as to who exactly is involved in all of this and who said it's time for us to also eat a little, because those were the comments that were actually made. You're giggling a bit, Maseko, but it's shocking because it's, if you have such information at your disposal, especially at a time where you were the CEO of Eskom, a power utility that's failing to keep the lights on, that's literally in shambles, and you're refusing to give the name, why did you appear before Scopa? And I think that's what MPs are now going to go back to at 1 o'clock to try and ascertain a way forward, because they are none the wiser. But let's listen to parts of what Ruyter said before Scopa today.
At this point in time, Honourable Heidi, I don't think that it is in the interests of the oversight role of Scopa and the nature of the engagement that I disclose this today. I don't think it is a critical element that is important, and I therefore propose that we move on, and that I do not disclose the identity of this minister, because I don't think that it is required for us to enhance, as the Honourable Chairman said, the sole purpose is to look at the potential misuse of public funds, and therefore I would not want to elaborate on that at this point in time.
All right, so he also then reiterated, Heidi, that a certain minister at least, and that is the Minister of Public Enterprises, Pravin Gordhan, that there's corruption taking place. But I'm interested in what he said, Heidi. I know you're going to tell us about him admitting again that he told the minister. There was an MP who asked him, if now that you're saying you reported to the minister, does the minister have the names of the people that you don't want to give us today? What was his answer?
No, it seems as though he doesn't. He has not. It's almost confusing, and I actually had to go back and listen, because I thought I missed the name. I thought I wasn't hearing right, because I was so confused. You agreed to appear before the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, but the main reason why you're there is because South Africans Parliament, they want to understand who exactly this minister is or who this high-ranking politician is. That interview exploded on eNCA, and the whole of South Africa was watching that very closely. But where is the proof? Where is the evidence? Surely, if you had that, you were supposed to give that at least to the Hawks or to the police and to the minister, which is the shareholder, which is responsible for Eskom. But it seems as though Andre de Ruyter could not really give a clear answer as to whether or not that name was given to the minister. It's almost as he said, it's not my place to give the name. But if you are aware of who this politician is, surely you need to tell somebody about this. But Andre de Ruyter is maintaining that he has communicated this to the right people, that being the Hawks, the police, as well as the Minister of Public Enterprises. So perhaps we should get the minister on to ask him who this politician is. So everything is still up in the air. And before we listen to what Andre de Ruyter had to say about who he has informed, I just want to highlight the fact that Scopa will go back now at 1 o'clock and try and find a way forward because they themselves don't know how to take this forward. Andre de Ruyter said, my 3 hours are up. I promised to be here for 3 hours. I committed to be here for 3 hours before Scopa. My 3 hours are up. I'm done. I need to be excused. So now Scopa has to find a way forward because, yes, he agreed to appear before Scopa, but what did we actually get out of him? But let's listen to what he had to say about his engagement with the minister.
I also reported this to my shareholder representative, as I said, Minister Gordhan. He was accompanied by the National Security Advisor to the President, and the main findings were again shared with these two officials. I think that discharged my duty to report. I may also add, to preempt any potential question in this regard, that I have complied with Section 34 of the Prevention of Organised Crime and Corruption Act, the PRECA Act, by ensuring that I can share with the DPCI the information that is at my disposal, and my legal advisors have made a submission to the Hawks in this regard in full compliance with Section 34 of PRECA.
And we all remember the chairperson telling him that this is definitely not the last time that they're meeting. So let's see if they'll call him back again for another 3 hours. Heidi Giokos with that report. Let's leave it there for now.